Participants, is there anyone who is inviting Professor Raghavan Painat, sir, for today's lecture?
One minute. Sir, I shall do, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead, ma. Thank you.
Good evening, all. I take this opportunity to welcome for the 7th day session of this workshop, Professor Raghavan Painat, a folklorist, and who has been very kind enough in giving us a broad outlook of what folklore is and how a folklore has to be viewed, or how it has to be seen as a scholar from a scholar point of view. I welcome you, sir. I also welcome the other eminent scholars and participants to this meet. Thank you, sir.
Okay. One minute, sorry. So after a day break, we are coming back to the our segment. First segment I couldn't finish last class. Anyway, yesterday you were enlightened with new ideas and a new approach can be done on folklore by Professor Chalaperumal and Professor Sudhakar Reddy, and I express my sincere thanks to Professor Sudhakar Reddy and Chalaperumal, because it may help not only them, it helped me also to understand, to evaluate my own this academic talk. Anyway, let us come to this our own area, that is it is the thing that it is visible. Is it visible, this?
No, sir.
Yeah, okay. So this is the topic that we were dealing with last day, and I think I have finished the first this one and the second one also. I think 2 slides I have finished, and let us go to the. So I don't want to make you remember all these things, because I think I already sent that this PowerPoint to all the participants, I think, yesterday. So you might have in your hand, I think. So let us go to the third segment, production of knowledge since Renaissance. I divided that theoretical approach as well as other things also. So this is theoretical approach, what happened during this period, not in folklore, but all over this academic disciplines of that production of knowledge. So I divided that into 3 duration. According to the duration, I divided that into 3 segments. That is during colonial, industrial, capitalistic period 1, during nation-state socialistic period next one, during post-colonial neo-capitalistic period the third one.
You have PPT. Sir, you have PPT.
Why I am doing all these things now, because it's nothing to do with this. Yeah.
Sir, if you have PPT, kindly
PPT
share.
Is not seen?
No, it is not seen. Please share.
Yeah, why? I don't know. 1 minute.
Please.
Okay. 1 minute. We will make it. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody told that it is visible. Hmm? Yeah. It is because of some internet connection problem, I think. Yeah. Now it is visible.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
By now?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. 1 minute.
Yeah.
Something happened. I think.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So, whenever you have some problem, just intimate, then we can correct it. Hmm? So you may be wondering that why I am putting like this, colonial and these are political. They want this in academic this deliberations, because I don't see any difference between this academic, this political and economic and any other area, cultural or any other social, because everything is related to life, and whatever happens in our life, it is some or other way it affects our life. So since Renaissance, we have been continuing these academic exercises. Parallel to that, so many changes that had happened in this world, especially political, because politics is more important than any other thing, because they have the power, and power decides everything, even academic these activities also, what direction the academic innovations has to go. That is the problem. So once upon a time, usually we used to say that we are pure academicians. We don't have any other relationship with this politics or these such things. It is not so, because whatever theory that we are dealing with, whatever academicians, it has its own ideological position in the continuation of the academic exercises. So it affects also. That is why in the beginning itself, I was so particular about to tell that the thing that ideology, knowledge creates ideology, and ideology creates a perception, way of perception, and perception to this conceiving, and conceiving is the last kind of creation of the culture, creation of anything, that is culture and nature. That is the thing that in this academic discourse, this all these since Renaissance,
Not audible, sir.
Not visible, sir.
Sir, Raghavan sir, audio is muted. Sir, Raghavan sir, please unmute your audio, sir, if possible. Shivakumar sir has to help, I think.
ഇതൊക്കെയോ പ്രശ്നം എന്തോ പറ്റിയതാ നോക്കുന്നുണ്ട്.
Hello, Raghavanji. Okay. Hello, Raghavanji.
Little problem, that's why. Now it is okay.
Yeah, your voice is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
1 minute. അല്ല പോലെ Yeah.
Yeah, your screen is okay.
പറയണമെങ്കിൽ
Yeah, you can start.
your video is post. എന്തോ പ്രശ്നമായിട്ടില്ല എന്തോ ഞാൻ ആദ്യം കയറാം ഷെയർ ചെയ്യണ്ട. ഇത് ഫുൾ സ്ക്രീൻ വരാൻ എന്താ വേണ്ടത്? ശരി. മൂന്നാമത്തെ Yeah, just 1 minute. Trying to. It is this Zoom makes some problem because of Chrome. Chrome identified 2 people at a time operating. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Within 1 or 2 minutes, it will be ready.
So still there is a problem.
Yeah, some problem that is for Chrome.
Then we'll do one thing. We will meet after 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. It as it come. Yeah.
Yeah. So that they will take water or tea.
It has come.
Oh, it's okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next. ഇത് ഷോർട്ട് സ്ക്രീനിലുള്ളത് ഈ ചെറിയ സ്ക്രീനിലുള്ളത് അടുത്ത് next. Yeah, this is I'm talking about. Is it visible? Yeah.
Yes, sir. It is
Yes, sir.
visible.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Go ahead, sir.
I don't know. It is because in the same system, 2 people entered. That is myself and Shiv Kumar, and Chrome identified that which one is the legitimate.
Chrome is not folk now.
Yeah. So that is the problem. Now it is solved. Let us see. Okay. Now Shiv Kumar is dealing with that slide, and I am leading only my system, and my system also changed. That is, I entered into a notepad. So I think hereafter it will be go smoothly. So let us see production of knowledge since Renaissance. That is the theoretical approach. Then you see mainly origin and evolution theory. What happened during this colonial industrial life? I divided it. These are the at the same time. Colonial period means industrialization period. At the same time, capitalism also. These are the different phases of the same duration, because it's interconnected also. So without colonial, this industrialization is not there. Without industrialization, colonialization, capitalism won't work. So all these things are together. One is political, the other one is maybe social or economical, industrial. The other one is capitalist, again this finance and other things, so social. So what happened all these days when this happens, that is mainly origin and evolution theory in the beginning in social sciences, whatever it may be. That is even our evolution theory was the same, did the same, mainly origin and evolution in all disciplines. So people are at a stage when they wanted to know their own past, the origin, when it was originated, and yeah, after that, what happened to that? So I don't want to go in detail, because each and every discipline you just examine what happened during this industrial period, that is colonialism, and innovative research in search of university, not university, it is universal. I changed that, but it didn't come. Don't I will, while sending that, I will correct it. Universal principles, that is science and technology, innovating one after another, new theories and other things. And that because the urge was for to satisfy the industry, new industry. New industry needs different kinds of technology, and that technology comes from the science. So one side, in one hand, scientists enter into this scientific research, and they find out the principles of innovating new principles of this universe, whatever it may be, any area, whether it is physics or chemistry or this energy part or anything. Then the other thing is that naturally this scientist, the next step is that technologist, they wanted to find out that how to apply this on this universe, that is world. The same principle can be applied on it. They were working on that, and they found out innovated so many technologies, how to apply that to the real world. So that is the thing happened, and accordingly, new industry developed. So this was the urge. Without any urge, nothing will happen. Now, if you want to invent something, the basic principle of research is that research is the means of means of production of knowledge. For the beginning, in the beginning, you have to have a problem. Otherwise, nothing will happen. That problem is solved through innovation, new innovations, whether it is science or social science or technology. So, in the society, this capitalism is at its development, and capitalism demand new area of this product, commodity, and they enter into they ask these technologists to find out new technology out of this, and not directly talking all these things. It's a continuous process. So science and technology and industry naturally capitalism. So the system that capitalism wanted all these things done. That is the thing happening. So next, 1 minute, because Umar is dealing with this one. Yeah. So during post-colonial neo-capitalist, before that, one more thing is the nation-state period is there. I think one more slide is there. I think just to go back, Umar. Just back one, yeah. No, the next. Yeah. One more. Yeah. This is the thing. No, next. Next. No, not back. Forward. Yeah. One more. Yeah, during nation-state socialistic period, we can divide that into that. I define this as during nation-state and socialistic period. The society or the world reached some kind of, I think it is after a particular point of time against capitalism. So many movements has happened in the history of our this one, cultural evolution or the social evolution. That in political arena also it happened, that one, that is it started at this nation state, because before this at the time of colonialism itself, at a particular point of time, slowly they entered into nation state feeling all over the world. The colony people, colony power, that is British or any other power, they wanted to make this one nation state. They that is called romantic nationalism, because they wanted to get so many colonies all over the world. For that, war and this movement, any kind of movement is needed. And for that, they wanted to keep the country behind them, behind the power. And accordingly, they created a romantic, not real one, romantic nationalism. That is why Hitler or Mussolini or anybody, not only all countries, you know, this, as far as folklore is concerned, the country, the smallest country that available, I think, in Europe, that is Finland. Finland, so many researchers in folklore happen because why? We had to ask that question. I think when we go to this next segment, we will sometimes answer for that also. So, romantic nationalism was so strong on those days in Western countries who are colonizing all over the world. So that reason, they wanted to promote this. Then at the same time, this socialistic movement, democracy to socialism and all these things are so strong also in the next part, not in the beginning, but in the later stage. So I put these two things. I put this as during nation state bar socialistic period. In the beginning, it is nation state. As far as Western countries are concerned, or America or other countries are concerned, but Eastern countries, colonized countries, it is very later period, nation state period is somewhat later. That is the movement of independence movement comes all these colonized countries, and they wanted to make a nationalistic movement all over the world. So this made how it happened. Because during this period, as I told earlier, without ideological stand, nothing will happen in this universe. How to identify the reality? That is the problem. That is why, you know, when this Saussure has come, Saussure in 1916, yes, these theories, that he propagated this, found out this, propounded these theories of structuralism. The beginning is Saussure. Why? It is 1916. That is the time of this World War, First World War. And there are so many other reasons also, but I am talking about the ideology. It is seen that when you compare this nation state and this democracy and socialism, that ideology of these three and the ideology of structuralism are the same. Because structure, as you know, what is a structure? Structure is a system that consists of more than one unit, and each unit has its own specific function among themselves and to the whole. That is the smallest definition that we can give to the structure. That says there are so many units in that. There will be so many units in that system. It is a system. System is something that is predictable. That's a movement, predictable action, and its result also can be predicted. If an action is, you can predict an action, and it's this one, it's a result. Then it's a system. It will continue. It will repeat this revision of that. No, that's it will repeat. No, in a pen, it's you can predict that when you put a raw material in an industry, you can predict that what will happen into that raw material, and finally it reaches the state of this products. So it's a system. Industry is a system. Predictability is there, and it has unit also. Any system has its unit. So this is the thing. Structuralism is the thing is that it has a definite units, and that unit has a relationship with the other units at the same time to the whole to sustain that particular system. So the same is with the nation state. That is why if there is a state, a nation state, it has a boundary. physical boundary as well as this, as far as power is concerned, that power has the limitation and power has the imposition on that geographical area. No encroachment by anybody is not supposed to be. You can't expect that. Not allow. Before this liberalization, before globalization, what was the system that we followed in each nation? Very difficult to encroach the boundary of this physical form boundary as well as other boundaries. Very difficult to invest money for industry in other countries. It has so many rules and regulations because each and every nation state has this power structure, this system that passes so many rules and regulations, and nobody can question that. Outside people can't enter into this system. So that is why I am telling that structuralism and nation state has the same ideology. That is why in 1916 it starts structuralism, and it ends with, you see, this 1980 it already almost collapsed. This is the nation state period when this liberalization as a reason, I know, as a force behind this globalization. Without liberalization, globalization won't happen. So liberalization was a must. That is why this liberalization is not advisable for structuralism, because liberalizing the structure at various level of the nation, that was happening. So no, that is why structuralism comes, and after that this nation state gets more and more power, and a time has come later that era has gone, because the movement, that's an evolutionary movement. It was this no, it is not coincidental. That is it go hand in hand. This academic work, academic concepts, academic theories, and all these things, and this political system, that political system decides everything. Social system, economic system, and all systems. That is why these two systems, two area, that is structuralism, the ideology of structuralism is the same as this nation state. So that is why, that is the relationship between these two. Next. So it is very, we can see that what happens in this in the initial stage, academic work gets in particular area, and accordingly the movement, the political, the social, and the economic movement comes towards after that this academic, this new innovations. You see, during post-colonial neo-capitalism, we can say that this during post-colonial, at the same time capitalism was is no more. Neo-capitalism, it has its own features and other things. It is not the thing that we had to discuss here, but at least we had to find out, consider that neo-capitalism is a reality now. So what happens here in academic arena? Academically, what happens? That creates ideology. Then how to we identify the reality in such a way, and that through that channel, this comes. Social change comes, economic change comes, and political change comes by this channel, through this channel. So what happens? The idea of liberalization, deconstructing approach, whatever we have talked about the structure, it's a system, nobody can enter, no a single unit can enter into the system. But what happens? Liberalization means we allow or give width to this relationship, unit to unit relationship, and by that in that width, small gap, something else outside things are coming in. So it demands the system. Neo-capitalism demands your structuralism won't work. So after that, deconstruction, instead of we had to talk about deconstruction, liberalization in all means, not only in academic arena also. That is why the thing that specialization, when there's science and social sciences with a strict discipline, each and every discipline has its own rules and regulations and methodology and other things, definition. And after that, when this time has come, liberalize everything. That is why you can talk about, or you can act multidisciplinary, you can act according to interdisciplinary, you can find out your own methodology for everything, for the convenient methodology for a particular thing. So this is happening in the academic thing. So next. So conceptual framework of accepted development. Now that is one segment is over. That is the relationship between academic works and the political or the real life. Life means life of the world. That is political life, economic life, or any kind of life. In one hand, the other hand, academic, these principles of academic area, both are interrelated. Not only interrelated, academic things comes first, appear once, first. That is why politics power always wanted to regulate this education system. What to teach, how to teach, and all these things. Why DPEP come in Kerala? Especially in Kerala. There are so many states in India. And why DPEP, with the pouring money, this DPEP came in Kerala? Why? No, before that, so many researches happened in that area, and they selected Kerala and I think few states in north also, but more money spent in Kerala. Why? It has its own ideology. That DPP has its own ideology. That ideology is in contrast with the ideology that is developed by the Kerala politics and Kerala Renaissance and all these things, and that this conflict they wanted to create. So every academic system, academic movement has a political power behind, working political power behind that. So we were advised that you don't talk of any politics. Your duty is that just innovate something, and this academic thing, then whatever innovated, you have to disseminate. The college and university is supposed to create both. That is this production of knowledge and dissemination of knowledge by university. And in the case of now colleges also can produce knowledge. Usually when earlier days, university is the center for production of knowledge, and colleges are the center for disseminating the knowledge, and that dissemination goes to the outside, and this industry and so many other things, social, political, and any other kind of change happens accordingly. So this is the relationship between this knowledge and this political system, other systems. So without academic activity, nothing will happen, no change happens in other systems. So it is the it is the actually that this academic work creates ideology, how to understand this word. So we had to change this word, we had to change the ideology also. So now that is, I explained to this thing. Now I am going to the other side. What happens through this academic work? But aim, the academic work aims what? Why? Why you have to invent new things? Whether it is social science or humanities, why? You have to answer the question. That is why, while producing knowledge, when you wanted to do some research, whether research nowadays project also, it starts with a problem. That problem is naturally physical, the rules and regulations about the nature, physical world, or it may be something social problem, society. Social means politics, and so many other divisions are there. That question will be answered by the academician. Then what happens to that? Then it has the application part. Then it changes the whole world. So ideologically, new ideology will be created by this academic work in social science and humanities. And accordingly, this movement, political or economical or any other movement, is because of this. So you see what happened at this postmodern period, as far as academics are concerned, post-colonial period. What happened? Everybody knows that globalization was at its full swing now. Then it is still going on. And how that globalization happened? What is the modus operandi of globalization? It's very clear that in liberalization, it is related to the earlier stage also. Because after the colonial period, the nation-state period came, and each nation has its own political power and its own parliament, its own this assembly, and they create so many rules and regulations, and they work as a system. Nobody can intrude into that. Outside countries can't. Now, a time has come that capitalism won't go hereafter in the same way, because it is this what you call saturation. So, what to do? Each nation has its own limit. For everything, there is a limit. It was strengthened by, legitimated by the legal this production of this so many rules and regulations by the particular nation state. Then that curtail the freedom of the movement of this capitalism. What kind of movement they want, it was curtailed by the nation state, the system of the nation state. So then the time has come that neo-capitalism, the thing is that you have to, this right to invest in any country, right to invest human power to any country for industry, and like that, so many things. So all the rules and regulations was created by have been created by the nation state all over the world. This new system, new ideology says that it is not, you can't continue that. You have to liberalize these rules and regulations that you framed for your nation state. That is actually political liberalization. The rules. So you can get a visa now immediately, you know. It was very difficult 20 years back when our university, somebody wanted to go to United States for a seminar. Very difficult to get. So many times tried and failed. It was very difficult. Now it is very, very easy. Within 2-3 days, you can get visa and you can go out and come back also. So in the same way, you can invest any money anywhere in the world. Not only that, every nation asks, request you invest here. Our prime minister goes to outside and asks for investment from other countries, capitalists of other countries. Our state chief ministers goes outside and because the other countries, the capitalists in the other countries to invest money here. And there is no bar now to import or export anything. Very easy. All rules are liberalized. How it happened? You had to look into. It is only because of the ideological, new ideology has been created. How? After modernism, slowly postmodern thought came into the scene. Then they created these such ideas. And as yesterday, Sudhakar Reddy was telling, so many features of this post-modern thought. So that kind of thing happened. So it is not very easy to understand these things politically. So academic things are related, highly related, or the whole change, the whole developmental system that today it is behind this. Before that, any development system come into the scene. If you look back, this academic, these innovations, new idea has been created, concepts has been created, and so many things, and accordingly the system works. The result of that, you see, I put it in that red, submerging all diversities, globalization. That is the result of this globalization. Not only political, I'm talking about, I'm giving examples from politics, but it is not the whole truth. Even in our family system has changed a lot. Everywhere, all over the world. We have a family system of its own. Each culture has a family kinship system. That kinship system has changed a lot. Now the relationship between father and mother, husband and wife, father and children, mother and children, and kith and kin around that is called kinship system. What is the present situation of the kinship system in our family? The report comes in the paper, in the media, so many videos. We can't think about those things. That happens nowadays. Why? Because liberalization. The kinship liberalized the kinship system. The relationship between two individuals in a family, it was defined and it was so strong, that bond was so strong. That is liberalized. So you get freedom in the behavioral pattern. Kinship means the behavioral pattern, restricted behavioral pattern of right and duties also is there. I'm talking about now about the behavioral pattern. That behavioral pattern, it has a strict rule in each and every society's family. That system, tight system, bond, losing that, not totally eradicating, it's canceling that. But what happens, liberalizing that also possible. If something happens in the traditional way of this one, then we have a feeling that it is also possible, it is admittable. Don't blame, it is admittable. So in that way, I am talking about this good and bad of that, what happens as a science, as an academician, I am telling this, what happens to our society and what is the relationship between academic works and this system, social system. So without academic work and without the production of knowledge, nothing will happen in this universe. So as folklorists, we have so much of responsibility in these such things. I think we can discuss that later in the next segment. So subverting all diversity, that is A, that is physical settings, B, social systems. That is the thing that we have in this universe. That is, one is culture and one is nature. Nature, physical setting. That physical setting day by day damaged by so many means. I don't want to go in detail because I have to finish and because I am belated one session. So second one is social system. Social system including family system or any kind of system. That is political, everything come under social system. This economic system, all other system that also get diversity was there. Once diversity was there and that diversity is slowly merging, submerging, and we are moving towards a globalized world. Okay, that resulted in a unified world. This ideology, unification model, that unified world. Once upon a time, Russell told that no, he wanted to he wished a new world. All humans are equal and all this universe is, the world is one. All human beings are one. But actually what he wanted to have, it is nothing to do with what happens today. That is another thing, that unification, and then this unification is something else. Okay, it is the result of the accepted ideology. What all happened, whatever I explained in this particular this slide, it is the result of the accepted ideology. That ideology has been created by the academician. Next. So this is the thing that happens in this world, the concept of development. Then I already explained this, so I don't want to spend much time on this. The seed of globalization sown in as and when universals are considered as truth. That is the problem with the. Now I want to put forward this idea that when all the responsibility of the knowledge production, who produces knowledge? Either they have their own ideology or they are in the hands of the puppets of in the hands of others. That is why what Hitler done during his regime in Germany, we know very well how academics were treated like there. And during that period, what all things happened academically in Germany. We had to think about that also. So attain civilization is considered as the ultimate goal of human life. Civilization, maybe yesterday we were telling about the intermodal co-evolution theory, that is nothing but its extension, not change. Co-evolution, whatever Swadhagar was telling, as my understanding, it is the terminological problem only. Terminological, that is, instead of telling this barbaric or something, we can make this the result of that the extension actually co-variation. This is co-evolution. So evolution is there. So that idea is there. So evolve. How to evolve? That is the problem. So civilization, if you give the nomenclature of civilization or anything on the basis of the new product, the life regulated, life systematized in such a way that it gets flourishing on the basis of these such things, then it is civilization. They told the word civilization. Whether you can find out another terminology for that, fact won't change. Rating, grading of civilization is on the basis of the consumption that I already explained, so I don't want to talk more. Industrial products, systems. I am summarizing this one because it's coming to an end. The so-called development is aimed at maximum producers, products, industrial production through technology. There is a difference with producers and products. Producers are maybe this natural for them, that products or something coming out of nature is called producers. That is, we cultivated grain and the produce is that particular grain. But as product, it is industrial. That also for consumption of the people. So producers and production through technology. In both cases, technology works behind that, and new producers and new products are coming through technology and its worldwide consumerism. What happens to them? What we producers here, whether it is product or produce, it goes outside. That is in earlier time also it was in a little rate we had in Kerala also, because we have this so many these producers such as this Grambu and so many other things, then we export that. Not exporting, people coming and taking away, and in return we get so many things. So it happened 1,000 years back since it started. So that thing and this today's thing is something different. The so-called the so-called development is aimed at maximum producers. How to yield more from a small area of land. That was the duty of the scientists, agricultural scientists, biotechnology, and all these working together and a maximum producers from a minimum land and minimum cost. That was the thing happens. Industrial production through technology and its worldwide consumerism. Arranging any facility to attain the above said goal is considered as development. What is development? Now, I think what I assume, yes, development is this. Arranging any facility to attain the above said goals for things I explained is considered as development. So next. Yeah, knowledge, ideology, and politics. Yeah, it has not come. Next, the next one. What happened? Yeah, it's coming. Yeah. Knowledge creates ideology. It is, I already explained. I am summarizing that for your remembrance, I think. Knowledge creates ideology. Ideology decides perception, and perception recreates nature and culture. That is named as development, and somehow that is now we also, all people all over the world now believe that this is the development. Ideology of origin and evolution theories dominated during colonialism and industrialization. Ideology of structuralism during nation state. Post-structural and postmodern theories during liberalization and globalization period. This is the thing that I explained so far. So let's go to the next, this one. And it's finished, I think, no? Yeah, it's the last one. Okay, it is finished. So what is the time now? Yeah. So I think I have to start. Now we can have now. I am going to close the whole this one. I think 4 or 5. I think 5 classes, 5 sessions. I completed that one part, the introductory, the base of my actual this thing, deliberation that I need to this before you is the coming one, because I made as a basement or a strong basement for my analysis, my this vision, my way of understanding folklore, and I want to communicate that you for that I paved this structure, basic structure, as this through these 5 classes. And I am going to analyze whatever happened in folklore, in the field of folklore, because folklore also started as part of this. It has no existence of its own. It has a mutual relationship with all other subjects since these popular antiquities. That was a subject of industrialization. Actually, industrialization made it possible to have such a subject, popular antiquities. So from there to today, what has been working in going on in the field of folklore. I am on the basis of whatever we discussed these 5 days. On the basis of that, we can analyze, we can establish, we can find out how it happened, how it affected folklore as a data, folklore as a discipline, subject of study, how it influenced and locate folklore, each and every segment, what has happened during this different period. So now I think we can have a discussion, and if there is anything there, otherwise we can go to the other one. Yeah, ready?
Yeah. Now it is for the participants to interact, or if you have any doubts, you can ask Professor Raghavan.
Sir, good evening.
Yeah.
As yesterday, Sudhakar Reddy sir told, really you bombarded our minds, and your thought-provoking ideas made us to thought many things. I don't know how to summarize your views and how to ask my question, but there are many thoughts from your lecture, sir. First of all, as you told, the structuralism and nationalism, national building, or we have to see in a together way means, if we take in an Indian context, sir, when the nationalism emerged in after 1920s, I hope, if we take as that after 1920s means, on the same time, our academics also turn in a different way, sir. And also the academic of colonial academicians also told their research also in a different way. As I can point in one way, as a Dravidian movement and comparative Dravidian literature by Caldwell. That is another way of nationalism, or we can see a nationalism in a different way, sir. One way the colonial mentality creates the national thing means the national geographical locations and nationalism, Indian thought like that, if it is constructed in one way means, in another way, the same academics taught us in another segment, it is not as a whole one India is. Dravidian part and Dravidian ideology is totally different, like that they inserted another knowledge system to us. This resulted as after 1920s Dravidian movements in South India, especially in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
So while structuralism and structure thing, if you want to see the structuralism and structure thing in the same manner, means how to view this type of politics and how we have to analyze this type of impose and other things. And another thing, as in globalization, the things, globalization and the colonial, both in the same way. In globalization, the things are happened as not as a global thing. It's done as Americanization and Europeanization. Like the same way in colonial period also it happened. They sold all their goods and they sold all their mentality, their ideology and everything here. The same thing also, it structures now also, sir. I hope think so. The same thing repeats now also. So if structuralism has to be a strong phenomena in colonial period, means it has to be now also, sir. The nationalism, and another thing is nowadays we can't consider that the nationalism and geographical locations, all the things are gone. Nowadays the ethnic identity and talking about the nationalism is more taking a more vital role on this in academic area also, sir. So in this political economical background, how to view this, sir? This is after your lecture, it's all came to our mind, and you created a very good thought-provoking one, sir. Thank you very much. I don't know it's as a question, but these are all the things rolling on our mind, and we have to think about it like that, sir. If there is any wrong, please you can correct me, sir. I think, sir, your mic is.
I think now it is okay.
Yes.
The first question is the rebellion movement, like all over this India, as India is concerned, so many movements that specifically in their cultural area. That is one question. Then it is not a structural, it's a part of structuralism. That is your doubt about that. The second one is actually what exactly one sentence I forgot about this.
Yes, colonialism that is same repeated now also, sir.
Colonialism for everlasting.
Everlasting, yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the thing that is the crux of my talk also. By this one, you see, when in Europe and America, this structuralism and this academic work happened, and in India, when this structuralism known to our academicians 50 years back now. 1916, I told 1916 is a mark, Sazu, in social science. As far as not only social science, it is affected science also. Then 50 years means 66. Only in 66, still we were not known much about the structuralism. In our university system, you examine in our university system, their syllabus, how far the structuralism has come. That means our ideology didn't get changed during this period because it was not introduced in India. These are third world countries. So what's third world countries? They were still in romantic nationalism period. That is why they wanted to have their own ideology, their own this cultural romantic way of understanding the culture. It is great. That is why DMK, in Kerala also different caste, society caste, they have their own, in Kerala sometimes eradication of that still. Caste is the problem. So this is the, now you understand why it didn't happen in this one. Later, when we entered structuralism, that may be in 1960, maybe after 1960, by that time, by 70s, structuralism is all gone. Structuralism in worldwide, structuralism as an academic and subject, it is not considered a serious academic subject because its function was not there. Postmodernism starts with 70s, early 70s, that root budding, and by the end of 1970s, it was a little bit flourished. That was the thing happened. I think by 1980, there's the other subjects such as semiotics has come. It encroached this structuralism. Semiotics, its own ideology. That ideology nothing to do with structuralism. So what happens? Now, from where it starts, from the power. Who decides which subject, which innovation? Like that, no? It's a continuous movement. So that is one thing. So that is over. The second one is colonialism still. Yesterday's, the colonialism that we have so far in last 2-3 centuries, it is not like today's colonialism. Maybe this one, you can have strict demarcation between colonial countries and colonized countries. You see? Now, which is the colonized country and which is the colonial country? Our country wanted to, export everything to this one. That was our aim. We invested. We wanted to take investment from other countries here and we wanted to sell that there, and then no barrier for that. This is not the colonialism, that earlier colonialism. There are colonial power, but that power distributed everywhere. So that is neocolonialism in my understanding. So many features for that. My understanding is one of the main features of neocolonialism is this one. We can't identify a colonial country and colonized country. We can't. We are also doing the same. China is doing the most. It is they make all the countries their colonies as far as their products are concerned. So this is happening. Okay, you are satisfied. Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the thought-provoking session, sir. Because you are all these days, yourself, Sudhakar Reddy sir and Chalaburmal sir, you made us to thought many things. Thank you.
Yeah, because I have been working, I think, for this line for the last 4 or 5 years, and now I get little bit courage to share these ideas among our own folklorists, not for others. They don't pay ears to us because we are poor folklorists. They don't want to pay their ears to us. But I thought it is the time has come that I can share with my colleagues, my fellow folklorists, that slowly it will go out. Okay.
Thank you, sir. At the same time, as the academicians, after the colonial academics came, sir, native of indigenous research methods.
Yeah.
Yes, we are doing research in agriculture university and all universities, sir. At the same time, whether we are accepting a farmer's indigenous knowledge till now, that is a very big question. And
that question, I think it's a relevant question and reliable question, and I have to answer that, not now, because it is on the way. The last part of my next segment, there is a session. In that part of the session is devoted for that issue. What kind of knowledge? How this knowledge can be shared, and why? How can it be sell out? That is the problem that that is the why folklore is such the drastic stage now, because of this. It has no power to do in this area. So we have to deal with that separately. Okay. Wait for
Thank
that.
You, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
I anticipated your questions, all these questions, and I included everything. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So anybody? Otherwise,
Hello.
hello.
Is there anyone? So nobody?
Yeah, if nobody is there, we can go for the next, or we can, I think.
Okay. Then we do one thing. Yesterday, Dr. Sujay Kumar ji, he would like to raise a question on yesterday's talk. If you are interested, you can raise that question now. Is there Professor Sujay Kumar?
Yes, sir. Hi. Can you hear
Now
me,
you have
sir?
time. You can ask.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, please.
Oh, sir. Yesterday, I want to know the term Professor Sudhakar Reddy sir used in his lecture. That is voice, voice or ethology. I want to know the a brief description or brief discussion on this term market. Ethology and voices, voice. Another term is Professor Reddy sir used yesterday.
What is the other term you are asking? Mythology, I understood, but what is the other term, sir?
Sir, you have used the term ethology, I think.
Yeah, mythology. Yes.
Another term is voyeurs or the voyeurs.
Mythology is a study that is basically to study the animal behavior in congruence with the human behavior. So it has
Yes.
parallelly both the studies are done. So they take a animal and then study injecting them and experimenting them, etc., etc. How do they behave for certain kinds of environmental changes or for certain kinds of changes that actually induced into their system, biological system, and how do they behave, that they study. Similarly, the same study is also carried out for the humans. And for humans also, how do these behaviors affect, like social organization, for example. Animals also have a social organization. Humans also have a social organization. So is there a correlation between these two? And if at all it is there, whether it violates the so-called quote and unquote evolutionary model. So it is not, it is actually violating the evolutionary model. That is why it is called co-evolution. So evolution is what? It is going from simple to the complex. But what is co-evolution? Exactly the opposite. Complex is inherent in the simple, therefore it is manifested whenever the possible times arises. That is the understanding. So when a person looks at the social organization, it looks very complex because of this kinship, for example. Kinships are very complex ways of aligning with each other. Each unit of family aligns with each other. So that's a very complex system. How this complex system is evolved, they wanted to understand even through the animal behavior. So there is a congruity. There is a kind of analogous congruity between these two, and ethology is meant to study such kind of things. That is ethology.
And sir, another term is voracy.
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 Okay. Voracy is a neologue for orality.
Yes.
Voracy is a neologue. It's a new term coined for orality, mouth to mouth, communication system. That is called as orality.
Sir, it is synonym to verbal art.
Yeah. It is also synonym to verbal art, because all verbal art means we are only trying to look at the aesthetic value of the verbal, but otherwise there are speech acts without any kind of that metrical and other kinds of artistic expressions. You say good morning. Good morning is a greeting system. So what is the aesthetic in it? So
Yes.
it is all developed in the process, right? So it is not just verbal art. Anything that is transmitted orally from mouth to mouth or from generation to generation, that is called as oral.
Oh,
Yeah, that
okay.
is the
Thank you,
legal
sir.
one.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you, sir.
There any other question? We have still 2 minutes more. Okay. Professor Sudhakar Reddy or Professor Chellapirmal, would you like to clarify anything on your yesterday's lecture? If at all. Hello?
Sir, you are asking Chellapirmal, sir, na?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chellapirmal, sir, you are asking. Right. Is the question is for both or only for Professor Chellapirmal? Hello?
I think in Chellapirmal is not there.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay.
If you have to say anything, you can. In
No, 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 no,
continuation to your lecture.
no, nothing unless there is something coming from the.
Sir, I just wanted to have a clarification, sir. With all
Okay.
this 5-6 days with regarding to social, folklore, I have to come out of the social thing. Folklore thing, sir, I could find folklore being in all the disciplines from the beginning. Maybe it was not identified or said, oh, it is a folklore. If I'm right, you can let me know. If I'm wrong, also you can correct me. But when we with all the stages of theories, and we say the periods and everything and all, now how does it has been looked out? What is the status of this discipline? How is it a complete discipline as such, or is it recognized in that way, or it still has looked down a step, or what kind of, in what angle does it fit into? Just a clarification.
Hello. Ready?
Yeah, Professor Raghavan?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is a
Padmini has raised.
it is a clarification for me, from me.
Anybody can answer, sir. No, I'm not. I'm just looking for, because I am now a bit sensitive to, I have to think a lot before maybe to use the terms folklore, folklorist, folkloristics. Now I need to be, because I earlier maybe I did not have this much of thing and I was quite liberal in using, but now with all these sessions, everything and knowing and understanding, I need to know exactly where and how the terms and what's the thing.
Yeah, I think you can wait for the next class onwards. Then you will be not only doing, you will be acquainted with the folklore, I think, because last coming 5 days, we are criss and cross. We are talking only about folklore, nothing else. So I think it is not the time to tell all these things, because we are coming for the definition of so many people and their ideology also. So I think by this time it is not suit, because it will take much effort to make you understand what is folklore. So I think without an effort, attending this all sessions, you get a clear understanding what is folklore. Otherwise, telling a definition by its own, it won't work. Okay.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And sir, why is that always the core, even regarding to social science also, I have this query I've been asking. Always we quote, sir, my camera is not working, sir. Otherwise, I would have just put it.
Yeah, my camera is working. Yeah.
No, mine, sir, my camera.
Mic also working. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir, but my camera here, it's a bit loose and it is losing the contact.
Okay. Thank you for your question. Anyway, we are going to answer that question. That is the main question that we are going to answer. What is folklore? What for folklore?
Yeah, what for?
It's a thing. So
always it's when we are taking example, or we are quoting only from the Western research scholars' point of view. Why not from Indian, or no work has been done? Because in today's my summary also have mentioned the same.
Yeah. Okay. We can ask any question during this workshop, and if possible, we are knowledgeable. We 3 people are all the time. 4 people are here, not of 4. 6 people are here. That is Dr. Bhattavalsal Reddy and Sudhagar Reddy and Dr. Chellaperumal, Dr. M.N. Venkatesh and Dr. Shyamala and myself. 6 people are here to, if you have any doubt, you can ask, clarify everything. If I don't know, so my colleagues will answer for such questions. We are one and together, no? So don't worry about that. Whatever question you can ask, because each of our resource persons and organizers are their own specialization, and if you ask question in a special area, the respective person will answer the question. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. As Professor Raghavan said,
yeah,
our main intention is only to make what called youngsters to know what is going on in the field of folklore. So what all we know, we will try to share. So you have freedom to raise any number of questions, and all the people are ready to answer your question.
Yeah, for that, I have a humble request before the participants that it is seen that some of the participants are missing in this gathering. I had to say that no, it is in such a way we structured our workshop. If you miss one slide, it is very difficult to follow the other slide. That means it is knitted well. So if you have a break, it will affect your understanding and everything. So don't miss this any session or any portion of this our workshop. So it's a request. Yeah, it is seen that some of the people are not attending the whole session or either in between. So don't do that. No, for your sake, it won't affect us in that way. So our mission is that we have to disseminate our knowledge, and we have to enhance the status of folklore, not because of that folklore, but because of the development process. What is our role? We have to get a clear understanding. So kindly cooperate with us, and we can have a nice discipline, humanistic discipline, this discipline folklore. Okay. Any more questions or something? Yesterday also people yesterday the Chellaperumal didn't get any time to talk with you. If you ask some question, he can also answer. because it is nearly 9:50. I don't want to go to the other, each one a separate segment, that 5 classes. So next day I will start.
Sir, there's a question to Sudhakar Reddy, sir. Sudhakar Reddy, are you there? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. Sir, yesterday Sudhakar Reddy sir was giving answer to one of the participant regarding the commodity. So my question is, if commodity has raised within the community and transfer its exchange value, then can we say that it has become a kind? Then can we say that it is we are preserving the folk identity of that particular community by disseminating to other, or just can we say that it has become a kind of a commodity in the hand of that particular community as well, sir?
Yeah, it is an interesting question. See, there are two things. We cannot, I did not go into details of folk, and I only pointed out the layers, right? Say, within the layers, the broad two categories that was identified based on, again, the Sangam literature, basically, Aham and Puram concept by A.K. Raman in folkloristics. He brought this idea into folkloristics. Now, what is Puram? Puram is a public performance. Yes, translated into public performance. And what is Aham? Domestic level performances. So most of the rites of passages are within domestic. And even storytelling by mother to children or grandchildren to by grandmothers is a Aham kind of performance. But when it's coming to the Puram performance, who does that public performance? So there are specialists, a second layer of people who come to play a most vital role in doing that. And they don't do it simply, though it is an obligation for them. And there is also another obligation for the community to take some, to take responsibility of the performance. That is again tied up in a ritual kind of manner. Therefore, any performance, this is in South India, it is called as Merasi system. Merasi is a sharing. Share, it comes from the Persian root, mera, which means share. So the sharing system of what? Of resources. So there is an exchange of food or grains or whatever animal or etc. is given to the performers, and performers play the role of either a priest or a performer, whatever it is, that role is being played. So if you look at, there is an exchange value added for that product called, there is no exchange between the material here. One material is being exchanged by the other material, then it is a use value. Your grain, like wheat, is being exchanged for something else, like tamarind. Then it is something called, that is the typical way of, product. But here, what is being exchanged? Exchanged a ritual performance with a material performance. Use value getting exchanged with an exchange value. So this is a very deeper nuances that we have to understand. If that is the case, it becomes a commodity for whom? For the fellows who are selling that it is a commodity, and for fellows who are receiving also it is a commodity, because both have the same obligatory relations in that particular cultural system. So that is being sold within. Now, the other question comes, why then public performance? So public performance has a definition by Milton Singer, right? A very famous anthropologist who has defined this public performance. A public performance is a performance which can be shown to the others in order to give esoteric and exoteric kind of feeling, identity of the community. How the identity of the community is expressed to the others? Only through these public performances. You understand the logic, right? So when I make a public performance which is meant for the entire village or for the entire outside village, then what is that I am trying to make? I am trying to tell the identity of my community to the others, right? So this is another level of exchange that happens. Another level of, so the public performance, at the same time, the commodification of within the community, both go hand in hand. the way you look at, the way you interpret, that makes the difference. You understand? The way you want to look at that particular phenomena makes the whole difference. So we have to understand the nuances of public performance closely associated with this. And there is a very good book by what's his name, Michel Bakhtin, on carnivalism, right? The carnivals, how the carnivals are performed. A beautiful explanation given by him. You might have read that, right? So what happens is that same concept happens that a nation wants to project its nationality, the so-called identity, to the others. How do they do it? Through the public performances. Your Independence Day period of India, Indian Independence Day period, you have all kinds of cultural activities being shown to the public, including your tankers, your ammunition, etc., etc. What? Why? This is exactly the demonstration of your strength, your identities to the others, right? This is Habermas uses a different terminology for this particular concept. Public sphere, how the public sphere is demonstrated, right? The public and private both comes together and then gets demonstrated. Now the private here, a particular cultural group from Kerala makes what you call a vehicle, and then that vehicle is passed through the parade grounds. Everybody watches. Likewise, Manipuri comes, likewise, Andhra comes, etc., Bengali comes, everything. Na? So these are all units of cultural expressions of individual states into made into a presentation to a chain of system, unity in diversity. So I have a problem with nation state usage. Nation state is different from national state. Nationalism, which started in 1870s, Bismarck started in Germany in 1880s, 90s, and the other fellow, Mussolini, started in Italy. Both are considered as the nationalism. Then structuralism was not there. Structuralism came much later. Hello? Right? So it has come much later. So structuralism having direct impact on nationalism, I doubt. Anyway, that's Professor Raghavan Painat's opinion. I respect that.
ও লোকটা তো কোন আনপ্রেডিক্টেবল ম্যান, ও হয়তো এখানে এসে ওখানে দাঁড়িয়ে ছিল হয়তো, আমার ধারণা।
Somebody is talking, right?
Sujay sir.
Okay. Okay, so we have to understand where does this particular thing comes from, right? Nationalism is of the late 19th centuries, not 20th century. India got freedom in 20th century. Doesn't mean that we have got freedom during national period. Nationalism, romantic nationalism. Romantic nationalism is a term used by what's his name? I forgot that famous German writer. I forgot suddenly. I'm becoming old, forgetting these names. Right? A beautiful book he has written on that. And the whole concept of romantic nationalism, the way he writes, language politics plays a wonderful role in that. And trying for identities to get united in order to fight a colonial regime. So even in Finland, it happened in 1870s and 1880s onwards. Structuralism was not there. Structuralism as a discourse in academics was not there, but systems theory was there. Biological systems theory was much earlier than structuralism of linguistics and social sciences. We have to understand. Systems theory is equivalent to that of structuralism because one system, how the system is getting affected. So it is made of units and each unit has a particular relationship. If one relationship changes, the entire, it changes, affects the whole. That is systems theory. Same thing, structuralism. So we cannot impose one ideology over the other. We have to be a bit careful in usage of such kinds of units, right? Same thing like I said about cultural performances, and I also said about commodification within the community. Thank you.
But sir, don't you think so? It has become more in a commodity sense rather than the dissemination of culture identity. If you look at today's time, the mass media and all these things, people are more into it. They are more. It has become more commodity. What I found.
Nowadays, are you suggesting that nowadays it is becoming?
I found that it's more in terms of the commodity rather than uh, dissemination of the identity.
I don't know. I don't know in what sense you are talking about. See, there are confusion. Some confusion is there. Yesterday, Himanshi was also raising this. See, what the example that is taken is basically a Mithila art. Art tradition, that is folk painting, or particularly folk painting, especially folk painting or folk craft, both have a different nuances. They always make it for others, not for their own consumption. Folk art or the craft is made for others, not for themselves. So the exchange value is there within this folk art, I mean painting, as well as folk craft. You understand what I'm saying? So that is a different kind of material that cannot be equated with a folk performing art or a performance or folklore as such, quote and unquote, the aham. So these are different layers and levels. We have to be a bit careful with these kinds of things. So those folk paintings has become commodity right from the day one. Only thing is the enlargement of commodification has happened. It has gone to the global level. It did not remain within that circle. It has gone outside the circle and it has got a different kind of value. That actually what yesterday I was telling about the sign value, symbolic value, right? The symbolic value is a wonderful kind of concept where all archic kind of thing. In economics, they use this particular, concept where it becomes like priceless. You can't have a particular price. Archic is a possession which has a status kind of symbol. So it has become that kind of a symbolic possession or a sign system associated value with that. And most of these art purchased by the elite in Banjara Hills in Hyderabad or in the elite places in Delhi or even abroad, it is for what? It is to show to the others who come to their houses. So it becomes a piece of exhibit. It doesn't have a folk usage of that. I'm not saying that all art is doing this. Some of the art has a use value within the community for ritual purpose, for instance. They have the ritual. Now that ritual is lost, only the aesthetic part is taken out and then becoming this thing. So that is called commodification, not the other one. You understand? Not the other one. Only that portion of that art piece which has this exchange plus sign value, that is commodification, not the others. Thank you.
Sir, may I add something to this? I have some confusion.
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Sir, what if the folk music of a ritual ceremony is commodified by making by a regional music industry involving in that process and making videos of that, and the thing that is consumed is available to the community? It becomes global and local at the same time. It becomes part of artisanal as well as industrial process. How do we see that then?
This is exactly what Lord was actually trying to explain through the two concepts. One is called hyper reality, the other concept is called simulation, right? Simulation. So these are the two concepts which he has used very vehemently, and he talks about the mall culture, how the mall culture is being. Let us not get into all that stuff. Come to straight away point. Yes, the ritual music can also become a non-ritual music, right? So how does it happen? It happens in two ways. One is the ritual practitioners doesn't themselves make that into a non-ritual. It is somebody else. What the term used by him is called cultural industry. Cultural industry, which actually intervenes, takes out that piece of that and puts the entire components into it, and it looks much more real than the real. That is called hyperreal, right? Just like what you find in your internet. Some of these objects, including the porno, for that matter, which is being shown in the internet, are hyperreal. They are all mission made, but it looks as if they are real. much more real than real, right? So this is exactly what the hyper-reality concept deals with. So when a ritual object is taken away out of the community, then it is made use by the cultural industry, then that is called as consumerism. And that is called as, so no more ritual is associated with that. Then what happens? The person who is using it for something else. A sign symbol, a sign value is added to it. So this is exactly what it operates. So whether we call this as folklore or not is the question. So the latest debate is that yes, you should also call that also a part of folklore, second life of folklore. How it exists, who are the players in that, and what is the new function that is added. All these things have function, context, performance, all these things are there, even for the new form. So one has to read and one has to do it. Otherwise, what happens with the discipline is that discipline will die. No more whatever we are saying that the original folk and transmission by the word of mouth is gone. It's not there. That is again imagined. So we are getting into an imagined kind of situation to understand folklore. That is the problem with folkloristics. That is the problem with all our discourse. That is why our discourse is not able to head towards it. And we are still struggling with what is known as definitions. We are not seeing the new forms that emerge. Other disciplines have done it. They have no problem in accepting such new forms as part of their disciplinary boundaries. Whereas we are worried about what is original and what is duplicate and what is replicate and so on and so forth. This is the problem. Even the DNA thing, DNA is a replication. Something happens, mutations happen and evolve into a different form, different kind of organisms. This happens even in folklore. Mutations do happen and transformations do happen, right? All these things are part of folklore. When Vansudo talks about this migration, or even our migration theory of Theodore Benfey, it doesn't remain the same. Panchatantra doesn't remain the same. If it is found in Persia, it is a different form, different function. So we have to understand the logistics of how the transformations happen, how the mutations happen, how the change happens. This is what is known as quote and unquote social change for social scientists. Folklore change for folklorists. But we are not accepting that folklore change as a concept. That is the problem with us. Folk change also we are not accepting. We want the folk to remain as folk, underdeveloped, and make them as a pieces of museum and study. This is the problem with the discipline. Thank you.
I think you have one last question from Suresh. You would like to raise a question on the, I think, evolution and co-evolution. Hello, Suresh.
Yes, sir. Sir, yes.
Please.
Sudhakar Reddy sir mentioned the evolution versus co-evolution. I think the evolution is the cultural evolution, sir. And could you explain the co-evolution?
Both have cultural concepts. Even animal world. See, the problem here is that we are not understanding, or we are not, rather we are refused to understand. We refuse to understand that humans alone have cultures, not the animals. That is the major problem. Once the domestication started, domestication of animals started, I speak with my dog and dog listens to me, behaves the way I wanted it to behave, and it does all sorts of things. When I am sick, it comes and licks me, and then it doesn't leave me, it stays with me, do several other things. So it is culturally trained to do that kind of thing. So animals also have this cultural system in their own biological system, right? So co-evolution is trying to understand that these cultural systems are everywhere. The only difference that we find among the humans is language, and it doesn't mean that the animals doesn't have their language. They do have. Yesterday I didn't have time. There is a concept called Robinson Crusoe model developed by these ethologists, right? Robinson Crusoe model is used by economists, by evolutionists, and by all sorts of disciplines. They have used this as a model. This comes from literature, a fiction. Robinson Crusoe is a fiction, a novel, where a person shipwrecks happen and then he is drifted into the island and then he has to make a living. How he makes that living? So the political scientists have used it, how political systems evolve from an individual. So for evolutionary kind of a premise, Robinson Crusoe becomes a wonderful model for all sciences, right? So even for ethologists, even for biologists, they have used the same Robinson Crusoe model. In that model, what they say is that Robinson Crusoe trains parrots to speak the language. Like they want some food, they say fruit. Then they may say some water, they may say something like that. So he teaches all parrots English, that is his mother tongue, to these parrots, and it also talks about snake, etc., etc. All the so-called environmental dangers that Crusoe can see. See, this bird can see from top. If he sees as something, it gives a signal, right? That's how all other animals run away. We see that in the geographic world. If you go and then watch, one bird sounds and then it sees the lion and makes a sound, and all days run away. Same thing, Robinson Crusoe trains these things. The parrot, once it sees a snake, it will say snake, 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 snake. Then Robinson Crusoe gets alerted. Okay, there is snake coming, I have to be careful. I have to watch myself. So it is a cultural system that is happening between rabbits and the human. Sorry, parrots and the human. You understand? So the cultural system is a co-evolution system. It is not independent of each, right? So it is not evolved for humans in a particular way, or for animals that was the classicist version. But co-evolution talks about evolutionary process is universal and everywhere it is seen, noticed. And what level, what stage, again, stages is a uniting problem with modernist enterprise. So we have united. The modernist has united. But if you look at the units, they are also what? They are also some kind of imaginary units, imagined units. Like nationalism created an imagined community. So-called Indian, we talk about, where is Indian? There is no Indian. There is a Bengali, there is a Telugu, there is a Malayali, all these things are there. But where is India? So it is an imagined kind of situation created. Anderson's wonderful thesis on nationalism, imagined communities. So this imagined communities understanding permeates for all national states. So from nationalism to nation state is emerging. What is BJP now doing? It is emerging as a nation state, subverting all diversities, trying to homogenize all the diversity. That is called nation state. That is the definition of nation state. So nationalism is a diversified kind of thing projected as unity, unity in diversity, Nehruvian nationalism. But the latest nationalism is exactly the opposite, homogenization of all unity into one, nation state. So this is the difference. You understand what I'm saying, sir? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think we'll conclude here. I request Professor Sajay Kumar to propose a vote of thanks. Hello? Is there Professor Sajay Kumar? Yeah, he's there. Okay. Okay. If he is not there, is there any other person who is there?
No, it is the time. I think we can close because it is 9:15. Don't go for this long discussion.
Oh.
Ready?
Okay.
It is 9:15. We have to close it.
I think we'll close it. Would you like to say anything, Professor Raghavan?
Yeah. Yeah, I am telling that it is 9:15. We can close it.
Sir.
Ready?
Who is speaking?
Yeah, we can close it, no? Conclude.
Yeah.
Conclude.
Sir, maybe
Okay,
Professor
good.
Venkatesh sir has something to say.
Padmini, you have asked a number of questions.
Professor
For today's-
Venkatesh has something to say, I believe.
No, Venkatesh has already
No,
come
it's
directly
already
and
directed. Okay, today we will conclude. I request Professor Venkatesh to propose a vote of thanks. Hello, Professor Venkatesh. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Hello, sir. Sir. Hello. Sir, am I audible?
yeah.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I am extremely happy because a wonderful workshop is actually going on in collaboration with our department. Causes always actually stand ahead in front of all other organizations which are working for folklore, and it is rightly taking the youth along with them to the next phase of activities, so that I believe that these participants will take the folklore research to the next stage in the coming days. So, for creating this wonderful opportunity to the needy researchers, Raghavan Painad actually did a wonderful work. So, on behalf of every participant, and also on behalf of Institute for National Folklore and also Department of Folklore and Tribal Studies of Dravidian University, I actually render a hearty vote of thanks to Professor Raghavan Painad, sir. Sir, you are doing a very wonderful job, very enlightening work. You are making us to think about this particular development, and I am actually getting a lot of benefit from these discussions. So, thank you very much. On behalf of every participant, I am actually thanking you, sir. And
Okay,
I
sir.
also
Thank you. Yeah.
And I also thank Professor N. Bhattacharya Reddy for moderating this in a befitting manner, making use of the resources of Professor Y. Sudhakar Reddy and Professor Challa Perumal and S.K. Maqbul Islam in the right time, in the right direction. So, sir, for your leadership, actually, hats off. Thank you very much, sir, and Bhattacharya Reddy, sir. And
okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
And
I
Y.
request
Sudhakar Reddy, sir. Y. Sudhakar Reddy, sir, is giving a lot of inputs, and whenever he opens his mouth, it is damn sure that we will get some new idea. So, thank you very much, sir, Professor Sudhakar Reddy, sir. And also, all the participants were actually very actively participating in this and keeping these sessions very lively. So, thanks to all participants. Thank you all, sir.
Hello, Shiv Kumar ji.
Sir,
Just conclude the session. Please conclude the session.
Sir, before that, my apology for the interruption in between happened. That's purely because of the technical problem, sir. Sir, to all the participants and all the members in the platform, once again my apology for the interruption happened in between, sir.
No problem, sir. No problem. We're all learning. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.